pieces in my life go away with you. Forever in my mind, only you. The pieces in my life run away with you. You're my first love. You're my first love. You're my first love. You're my first love.
Hello and welcome to the 2013 FSR World Series Championship. I'm here in the commentary box, James Tucker. With me is Lewis McGlade. How are you looking forward to the new season then, Lewis?
Very much so. It's been a long await. I think the last race was, about November, really. So we had the Winter Series to tide us over until now, but it's really good to be back here in Australia. Yeah,
the Albert Park circuit. It should be good. Last year, of course, we saw Martin Gosby get the win in the final race of this season in Interlagos after Jack Keighley claimed that championship. We have some returning faces today. We have some new faces coming up from the World Trophy, including Peter Burlack, who at the moment is looking very pacey. We're in the Q1 session at the moment with 2 minutes and a half to go. And Gosby actually is leading, so he's carrying for a bit of momentum from last year.
Yes, we saw a little bit earlier that the top three drivers were actually within 0.007 of a second, so it's very close between the top three at the moment. There's only 0.2 separating them now. But as it comes to this circuit, it's quite a difficult circuit to show like the pace of the car, if that makes sense. So if you're fast here, you may not necessarily be fast in other rounds of the season, as has been proven in things like Formula 1. But with this being a street circuit, it's quite bumpy. It's an interesting circuit. 16 turns, lots of very different types of turns, quite a few chicanes. But I think we have got a good race, at least a good qualifying underway, with the cars being so close.
Yeah, I really think you can overtake on this circuit as well. There's certainly a few straights, the home straight, down to the first chicane, and then down to the third corner again. That's another good overtaking place if you can't get it done in turn one. And then into that fast chicane. We've seen a few overtakes there in the past, and it's certainly possible if you're feeling very brave. In fact, almost any of these corners are overtaking corners. It's just about really getting the exits of the corners right, getting in the slipstream down the reasonable length straight, and making a pass on the braking.
Yes, definitely. This, if you are brave, you can make many overtakes throughout the race. So, you know, if you qualify on pole, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go ahead and win the race. This race can be very close, and as you say, there are loads of braking opportunities, such as this one here coming up to turn 13, and there, as you said, there are a lot of overtaking opportunities, but you do have to be brave into a lot of them. There are quite a lot of short braking zones, such as that one into turn 15, as which Ville Lepolo has just gone round. Ville Lepolo was actually one of the 4 drivers who could have taken the Winter Series championship not too long ago, but he didn't show up to the last race because that was I would assume that it was because it was in R Factor 2 and we moved back to R Factor 1 for the 2013 season, which from looking at the Winter Series, probably the best and safest move.
Yeah, Ville Lepolo, of course, carrying through a bit of momentum, following finishing second in the World Trophy Championship last year, and he actually won the final race of the season there as well. Ahead of Zoltan Suti, also I believe is in the field today. He's another promising driver. Yeah, it's certainly looking tasty. We've got some old timers too, like Rob van Starkenburg, who certainly knows how to battle. He's up there in third at the moment. And guys of new teams as well. I'm going to have a lot of trouble, unfortunately, looking at the new cars. There's a few new paint schemes. You were talking about the Precision one earlier before we started. It's certainly looking like some guys in their new teams have got it together.
Yeah, I mean, that's very well said. I mean, if you look on the live timing, the top 20 drivers are separated by 1.1 seconds. That is incredibly close, considering, you know, this is the first qualifying session of the season. The lap is the fastest lap so far is a 1:24, pretty much dead. So, you know, it's a fairly quick lap. But 20 drivers within 1 second, that is impressive, and that's just going to show how close this season can be.
Yeah, actually, that's faster than the pole time last year. Last year, the pole time 1:24.38. Oh, sorry, something 1:25.8. Sorry, yes, and that was the pole time last year. So certainly, it's been an increase in speed. Although you do carry the fuel, I believe, in the final qualifying. Is that not right?
I'm not too sure on the rules going into Q2, as this is all new to me. But I know it's Parc Fermé rules in the second one. I think they are allowed to change their fueling. I'm not sure. All
right. Well, you only get one time lap, of course, in that qualifying session, so that should be really exciting. Last year, the strategy, everybody went on 3 stops in the top 11, so it looks like that will be probably the way to go. This track does tend to be a little harsh on tyres. In fact, we saw some guys being forced into doing 4 stops, and nobody even bothered to try any less than 3. So probably look for plenty of pit stops today.
Yes, it's because of there's a few high-speed left-handers, and that totally destroys the left tyres, especially the front left. And because of the high braking, there's quite a lot of braking zones. This can be prone to a lot of locking. I'd say it's quite easy around here to lock the tyres on the car, and so that's, yeah, it's the tyres degrade fairly quickly here, and that's why the pit stops are so high. And I don't think you'll see like a massive change with that this year. I don't think you'll see many drivers attempting a 2-stop, you know, to say the least. I think 3 stops would be, you know, looking at last year, would be roughly where we should be looking for the drivers to stop, because that keeps good pace, good tyre degradation. So yeah, I'd say 3 stops.
And of course, a lot of these drivers who are moving up from the World Trophy will be doing longer races every race now, something they haven't done before. A lot of them, though, have tried out the higher series before they've come up to it full time. You know, a lot of them tried out a few World Series races or even World Championship races. I'm pretty sure we saw Peter Burlack in last year. And Burlack is looking quite pacey. He's through to the second qualifying session. Of course, the World Trophy champion from last year. And he's probably thinking about a second championship in a row, which would be a very impressive feat.
Very, very impressive indeed. But as I was stating about this track not really giving us the full picture, if you look at last year's results for the World Series, I believe where was Jack Keithley? Jack Keithley finished in 16th place. Well, he didn't. I think he was in an accident towards the end of the race, but he still went on, I believe, to win the title that year, and has moved up alongside Bonahuis for Precision Motorsports in the World Championship. So, you know, you can't. I don't think you can take much from the end of this race, but you can at least kind of see how close the series is going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't win any series in the first race. That is for sure. You can get certainly a preview of what the racing will be like, as you said. And if we're going off previous races on Australia, it should be superb. Evan Milwaukee at the moment is on a timed lap. Obviously, he's going fast. He's going to see the first out there, but he's definitely very harsh with the car, Milwaukee. I always noticed he really drives it into those apexes, and he carries a lot of speed through the corner. As now he rounds the final corner onto the home straight. Let's see if he just takes a bite to the curb on exit there. We'll see what time he does then. And it is a 1:24. It's like a 6:98. I can't quite see on the screen, but live timing's a little late behind as well. But that's a reasonable time for Milwaukee, and he'll be looking that one to put him somewhere near the middle of the grid, I expect.
Yes, considering it was a 1:24 dead that topped the timing sheets for Q1. But yeah, that was a good lap, and our live timing I think is about 10 seconds behind. However, it's not quite updated yet for reasons unknown to me. It's a bit temperamental sometimes, but that was still a good lap. I mean, he should be happy with that lap. I will agree with you. It should put him somewhere middle of the grid, maybe a little bit higher. So it was a good lap.
Yeah, Milwaukee, of course, finished second in this race last year, so he's looking to go one better this year. Staying in the World Series, I see, so obviously wants another season to develop before he can really attract a top ride, or perhaps he just enjoys the real competitive nature of these World Series races. I mean, they don't get as crazy as all the rookies in the World Trophy, but certainly if you want to see some good strategic racing, which is close and competitive, and the World Series is the place to be, I always thought. You know, sometimes you do get a little bit of domination in the World Championship, but certainly last year with Peter Burlack winning everything in the World Trophy, while everybody fought behind him for the scraps. So World Series often is really a competitive series for the race win, and that's what really attracts a lot of people to it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes if you look at the individual races, you have some very, very good races, but then you look at the championship and it may look a little bit boring. If you look at Formula 1, for example, in 2011, the series itself was totally dominated by one driver. However, there were such good races in between that season. You know, if you look at 2011 with Canada, that was a really, really good race. There are so many good races, and that's the kind of thing that you can see throughout any of the series. Despite having Bono Huis in the World Championship dominating the last 3 years, you still get some really, really good races in that, and that's the important thing to look at, as well as the championship, is to look at each individual race.
Yeah, I have to agree. It was a superb Formula 1 season, that 2011 one. And last year, indeed, there were some great races, a real controversy as well, with Huis and Morand, I believe it was, and all that contact and bans and all that sort of thing. Real good fun, so look out for that tomorrow. But the World Series too, it certainly had its moments. There was races where I believe, you know, there's 5 guys fighting for the win, and any of them could have won it. Certainly Suzuka comes to mind as one of those great races from last year that I had the pleasure of commentating on. And I wasn't there for Australia, but that's always bound to be a great race of all the overtaking opportunities and the strategy that can be involved.
And that's why we're all here, to see really, really close racing. That's what we all want to see.
We have our
currently,
live timing back.
Pardon?
We have our live timing back.
We do have our live timing back, and that's why I was about to state that Lowell, apologies if I pronounce anyone's name incorrectly, but he's currently sitting in P1 with a 1:24.5, which is 0.1 of a second in front of Mallorik, which, you know, that is a good time, I think. Considering, what did you say was the pole position time from last year?
A 1:25.8 last year.
So in comparison to that, that is a...
No, sorry, it was a 1:24.8.
So it's still 3/10 faster, so that's still a good time there.
Yeah, the race fastest lap was 1:25. Just got to get my cheat reading right.
It's fine, me and numbers, I can get them wrong all day.
Yeah, early in the season, you know, I'm just coming back to this. I haven't done this for a while. I've been out of the internet the whole of the Winter Series and the end of last season. But certainly looking forward to a great season this year. And Norwell has impressed. This is I haven't seen him before. Was he in the Winter Series then?
He was not, I don't believe. He may have appeared in the first race because that wasn't broadcast live, but I don't recognise his name from anywhere between round 2 and round 6. So for him to come into this and set that time and top the timing sheets at the moment, that is impressive.
And I'm informed from his GPCOS profile that his driving style is aggressive, so look out for Norwell in the race.
Yes, it's. I think this season could be good. Thinking about people's the cars, they're using the stepped nose, which was something that I wasn't too sure about across Formula 1 last year, and so I'm not really too sure about it this year.
Yeah, they're not that beautiful, are they? But we'll put up with them. So Norwell on the pole, it appears, and that is a really impressive time for him, actually. Especially, like you say, to just come into the series and beat Ville Lapala and all the big names like that. I mean, that's really impressive. And I certainly look. I mean, the problem is he has no experience of doing any starts in these cars in competitive conditions and such. I mean, we could see him have a few of the nerves and Lapala pounce, but it certainly should make for an interesting start to the race with a rookie right up there at the front of the grid. Welcome back, and we are in the warm-up session now. Martin Gosby is on a time lap at the moment. He is actually leading the warm-up session. He qualified only 6th, so that's not exactly what you'd expect perhaps from Gosby, but I'm sure he'll bounce back in the race. Look at that, using so much of the track. He's actually kicking up dust there as he goes through. I believe that's down into turn 6, is it?
Yes, it is turn 6.
Yeah. That's it.
No, sorry.
Go ahead.
Continue.
Yeah, Gosby now into this fast chicane, a Clark chicane, I believe, and this is a real fun one to drive. Look how close he goes up to that wall, and there he is, kicking up the dust again on exit. That's really fun to watch.
It is indeed. But as you stated about the overtaking, if you have guts, you can do it. And you know, qualifying position here isn't really as important as you know, other circuits such as Monaco. But it is still important. Obviously, you know, if you qualify in 20th, your chances of winning aren't quite as high for obvious reasons. But you know, I think if you qualify anywhere in the top 10, you've got a definite chance of taking the win today.
Yeah, definitely. And should we run down that top 10 then? New boy Lowell. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his first name.
I've tried.
Yeah, I mean, should we give it a go? Adjibola Lowell? I don't know. Sorry, Lowell, but there we go. Has qualified on the pole for GT Omega Racing. Evan Milwaukee is in second, and Rob Van Starkenberg in third. Those experienced names looking hungry probably for a win today to start off their season. Peter Burlack and Vina Lapala qualifying 4th and 5th. Really impressive for those World Trophy promotions, almost you could say. And Martin Gosby is starting 6th, and he'll be looking to make up ground on the start. Eros Musculi is in 7th. Another one we struggle with here, Rainieri, perhaps.
Rainieri, I think it was.
Rainieri, there we go. He's starting 8th. Nagy in 9th, and Godek in 10th. Do you have the grid, Louis?
I do not.
To continue?
I do not currently have the grid.
Well, then I'll have to continue then. Luka Osmakovic, who is on your screen now, will start 11th. Kolarek in 12th. Verd Muller is in 13th, Lowell's GT Omega teammate, so he hasn't quite matched up to his teammate. Dematos will start 14th, Sheliento 15th, Danny Van Der Neek will start 16th, Roland, is that my commentary friend, Nick Roland there, in 17th? I believe it is. Diaz in 18th, Francesconi in 19th, Armando Mora will start 20th. Here's another one. Just Kelly, we were discussing this one before the race. He will start 21st, Hungarian uninformed. Pangev in 22nd, and Rodriguez rounds out the back of the grid in 23rd, although Zoltan Suti and Christian is showing currently 26th and 27th, but I think that's probably a problem with live timing actually.
Probably, yes. It's sometimes temperamental, but before...
The opposite in purple sectors at the moment actually.
Yes, I've just noticed that. This will be interesting to watch, to see if live timing has messed up.
Yeah, well, if he is indeed starting at the back of the grid due to qualifying problems or something, and he's set in purple sectors, then that could be really interesting watching that one unfold throughout the race. Yes,
very, very interesting indeed. But before we went away, we were saying about the cars with the stepped noses, and I'm still not sure about it. But we were also saying about the colour schemes before we broadcast, and there is the Precision Motorsports car of Martin Gosby, and I don't know, I'm just not sure about his colour scheme. What do you think?
I think it's quite nice. It's almost Jordan-esque. I'm thinking, you know, they could put a few more black stripes on it, and it could be a buzzing hornet. Well, I quite like it. And I think it kind of suits Van Starkenberg at least. He's a very aggressive driver when it comes to overtaking. Busy bee on your back.
That's fair enough. Whatever it means, the colour schemes on the grid this year, some of them are very striking and completely noticeable from an extreme distance. I will state that.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Luka Osmakovic at the moment is in second place in the warm-up. He's set in a 1:31.314. Looks like Christian stopped his lap after the second sector, so we won't get to see what time he does. Everybody now using this warm-up session just to get settled, just to perhaps test different fuel settings and such for the start of the race. Focusing on Vina Lapala here. He qualified an excellent 5th. Just behind his World Trophy sparring partner from last year, Peter Burlack. So looking forward to reigniting that old battle.
Yes, of course. Vito Lepper, I think he's in. I think is that Ghost Speed or Fast and Speed? I messed them up. I mix them up all of the time. Which one's Ghost Speed and which one's Fast and Speed? And not just because of their title, it's because their colour scheme is actually remarkably similar. It's Ghost Speed. It's Ghost Speed. It was my first guess, so that's always a good start. But he's been setting some good pace. Where did you say he qualified? It was
Lapala 5th.
Yeah. It was
just behind Peter Burlack, who he fought with for the World Trophy Championship last year, so should be really. They know each other well, you could say that.
Yeah, it's a good start for a season, but as we were saying that, you know, the qualifying session, Q1 at least, you know, 20 drivers were within, 20 drivers within about 1 second of each other.
Yeah,
it's incredibly close out there.
Yeah, it really is, and that should make for an exciting race. Hopefully it doesn't mean that there's almost no difference between the cars and we'll get a procession. I have seen races like that before where you think it should be great because of the closeness of the practice sessions as such, but really it just means that there's no difference in speed. But with the strategy that's going to play out, with some drivers, I feel Gosby's slightly out of position myself. He's actually gone third in warm-up at the moment. And I feel he's, oh no, that's the lifetime being slow, he's actually fourth. But I feel Gosby's a bit faster than that qualifying that shows for him. And I certainly think Peter Burlack, as he gets into his rhythm, as he learns these World Series cars, I think that he's going to be perhaps moving up the grid as well. And of course, with the rookie Lowell on the pole, look forward to perhaps him making some rookie errors and really spicing up the race. And De Jong and Suti, who I think are two really promising drivers at the back. It's really looking tasty.
As you stated, the strategy is key here, completely key. If you can get the strategy right, then that will mean that you can challenge for the win, for a podium, or if you're starting at the back of the grid, at least for some decent points. However, I will state I think the points go all the way down to 26th place anyway.
Yeah, they do. It's almost an IndyCar style system, I'm pretty sure, as long as they haven't changed from last year. Let me just take a look.
But anyway,
yeah, it is. Down to 11, down to P12, you get points, and then anybody from 13th on downwards will get 10 points for finishing the race. So if you can just drag your car to the finish, you can get a 10-point little bonus there. So everybody wins, apart from those who don't finish.
Yes, well, it's always stated that position 2 is the first of the losers, but you have to finish the race to get some points, and it's the points that that make the difference when it comes to the end of the season. You need to be consistent.
It is a long season, and I think having said this, most of these drivers will probably throw caution to the wind and go all out for the win today because they all want to start off their season just right. But it is a long season. They should think long term about the championship. And this little mistake here, it could cost them the championship down the road.
Yes, but we have just gotten word that the start has been delayed. So that season's start is just a little bit further away now. As you can see, all of the cars just... It's so busy out there at the moment. I mean, 26 cars around this track is a lot of cars for a track, you know, as small as this. It's not quite Monaco small, but you know, it's not quite Spa on its size.
Yeah.
If you have 26 cars around Spa, although it's still quite busy, it's not quite as busy because the track is so big. It's about 1 minute and 40 seconds around there. So yeah. It's a bit busy out there.
Yeah, a 5.3 kilometre, 3.3 mile long circuit, and it's not the widest of circuits. You go to places like Malaysia, China, all these Herman Tilke circuits, which are really wide and allow for free wide racing at times. Not this one. I don't think you should try that today. Although, to be honest, I would not be surprised to see some of these World Series drivers try. I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see the World Trophy drivers try tomorrow morning.
It can get very, very close out there, and as you said, it's not the widest of circuits. But as we said earlier, it is interesting to see because of the amount of overtaking opportunities here. Because it's not just like a few corners. I mean, Malaysia, although it's a big circuit, I feel that there isn't as many overtaking opportunities there. mainly the last turn and the first turn. Those are the two big overtaking opportunities, really. But here you've actually got quite a number, but you do have to take a deep breath and just hope for the best when you're overtaking it, because there's a lot of trust that's needed in both drivers. The driver that is overtaking and the driver that's being overtaken. To position the car correctly and actually realise that there's another car overtaking you. It's all about looking in your mirrors around here, because if you don't, then that's going to cause a massive crash. As Gosby, I think, gets a bit too far on the
yeah, there's a little bit taking a bit too much there. He's just testing the limits, is Martin Gosby at the moment. I would not be surprised to see some accidents. I must say that I'm not wishing that to happen, because it can be very gutting. You set yourself up for one of these races, you prepare all day, all week in fact. Most drivers will have been preparing, in fact, all the off-season, you could say. And then to crash out can be truly gutting. However, I do think these drivers will be trying so hard for every position on the track today. They really need to impress, make a good, solid start to their season, and get it off well. But I would not be surprised to see a few mistakes being made. And I think that's what actually contributes to the overtaking that can be done here. It's circuits like Malaysia and such. You'd think there's very long straights into tight hairpins, it would be great overtaking opportunities. It's not the case, because in places like this, there's more opportunity for a mistake from the guy in front. He's sort of mirror driving, looking in this mirror, and that can cause mistakes, which can allow overtakes to happen. So I believe now the cars have gone out on the warm-up lap. So the race will surely be with you very soon, as we have Lowell leading the field here.
As you were saying about looking in your mirrors, pressure is a very big thing here, and you have to be really focused on your own race. You can't be looking at everyone else's. You can't, although yes, of course you have to look in your mirrors, there is no getting around that, but you must be focused on your own race. You can't focus on what everyone else is doing. You can't be thinking about what everyone else's strategy is. You have to just think about yours and then go straight until the end of the race, give it 110%, which, I have difficulty with doing that. I'm not the fastest person in the world, I know that, but I have difficulty keeping focus, and that would be like the biggest piece of advice to any driver on the grid, is just to focus on your own race and go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it does look like we have a bit of domination from the big teams early, according to the grid anyway. Lowell, of course, driving for GT, then Malorki in Twister, Van Starkenberg in that Precision Motorsports car with that new colour, Burlak in Twister, then Lapala driving for GT Omega, and Gosby again in a Precision Motorsports car. So look out for those. I think Van Starkenberg will make a good start here. He's an aggressive driver, and I think you're going to see that yellow Precision car come up through the ranks. And I wouldn't be surprised actually if he tries something into turn one on the WAP.
Well, there is only
now just to prove me wrong.
There's only one way to find out, and that's to get to the start of the race, which will be with everyone in probably within the next 30 seconds. To be honest, this could be very, very interesting.
Yeah, the car's getting parked up on the grid. Then got to get in the optimum little bit of that grid spot, but you don't want to be too far forward and incur a penalty. Lowell then, what can be going through his mind? A rookie in his first ever FSR race, we believe, anyway, and he's going to be starting from the pole. There's 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and the FSR 2013 season is go. Lowell has a good start from the pole position, and look at Burlak there. Is that Burlak coming up through the field? And it's Lowell leading into turn 1, and I believe that is Van Starkenberg who has managed to get through in second in the precision car. So, Lapala going to lead down into turn... Sorry, Lowell going to lead down into turn 3. And, Van Starkenberg has to just defend there a little bit against the third place car of Burlak, I believe. I am just struggling a little bit with these new paint schemes. But certainly Van Starkenberg seemed to get a good start in that precision car. Lowell is leading from Van Starkenberg as we get our first split time. And those two just pulling a little break on the pack at the moment. Now down into turn number 6. He's having a little look as well, Van Starkenberg, but I expect he has plenty of time to work on this rookie and perhaps make a pass. I do think he was maybe a little bit out of position from qualifying. In fact, he's going to take a little look into the Clark chicane. Looks like we have 2 cars side by side back there for 4th place. Can't quite see who that is. Of course, we're using a new system here.
Van
What just
Starkenberg's
happened
taking
there?
the lead.
He's taken the lead. Van Starkenberg is the lead. Will he lose the second as well? He has. Is that Peter Burnett there in second place?
Lapala moved up into second. That's
Lapala,
Van Starkenberg takes the lead because Lowell makes a mistake coming out of turn 12. Wow, that was impressive. A shame for that mistake. I bet he's going to be kicking himself after that.
Incomprehensible what he did there. It looks like he just slammed on the brakes or something as he exited the Clark chicane. So Van Starkenberg leading Lapala. Lowell in 3rd now after that mistake. Gosby in 4th. Malorki in 5th. Burlak has fallen to 6th actually. I'm sorry, I didn't get the Twister racing colours correct there because they were the blue. Misculi in 7th and Zoltan Suti there in 8th. So he must not have started at the back unless he made an absolutely incredible start. Must be having a problem with the live timing there. Lapala now looking on Van Starkenberg. Who did I say would make a good start?
Oh yes, you got that one very correct. Van Starkenberg leads from Lapala, who has set a good lap, it must be said, a good first lap, but it was still 3/10 off of Van Starkenberg's, and it's a real shame that Lowell made that mistake. But Lapala is keeping Van Starkenberg completely under pressure there. He's not letting him get away at all, and that's I think he's learnt quite a lot. Oh, as he makes the move going out to turn 11. Oh, they're side by side.
On the outside.
Van Starkenberg keeps it. Oh, that was close.
That's a dangerous move.
That's a dangerous move. Out of all of the
might
places
just
you
pick
can
up the slipstream
overtake
here.
on this lap, that is not one that I would try.
He's going to go for the outside again, and will he get it? In fact, he has. Vila Lapala takes the lead of the Australian World Series Grand Prix, and that was an incredible move. He just stuck at it after not getting it around the outside of the Clark chicane. He stuck at it into the next corner, and that just shows you can overtake anywhere on this circuit. The Van Starkenberg, he's going to be amazed he fell out of that manoeuvre on the outside. Really an incredible move there, and certainly laying down the market is Vila Lapala. He leads lap 2.
Gosby now sets the fastest lap of the race. This is incredibly close. Gosby's up into 4th place, and I believe starting in 6th. And he, after just setting the fastest lap of the race, he's closed up to Lowell. He's now only 0.3 of a second behind. So he's looking to be making that move up anytime soon. And as Lowell keeps falling back from pole position, it's such a shame for him. But at least he's holding in 3rd place, and he's in a decent place to take even a podium. Or, you know, it's a long race. This is still 56 laps to go. So anything can happen across that. But what a start we have had to this season.
Yeah, that is a superb way to get FSR 2013 underway. And Martin Gosby, he is no slouch. I expect him to be all over the back of Lowell here. Perhaps he saw the move that Lapala pulled from his teammate, and he's going to have a go at it too. The way he just stuck at it, after losing out on the outside of this chicane here, he stuck at it, and in fact, he's pulling up in the slipstream here. Can he get the good exit here? Oh, he takes plenty of curve there. Martin Gosby's certainly aggressive with the curves here, and he's got the slipstream. Can he perhaps defend? Can the rookie defend against this, well, not a veteran I would say, but he's certainly got more experience than Lowell, at least in these FSR cars. He does defend for now. Better, you'd have to say, than Van Starkenberg did against Lapala, although Lapala was further up and beside him.
Yes, Gosby obviously keeping Lowell in check there across that lap. This is so close as Lapala takes the new fastest lap of the race. He still currently leads, but Van Starkenberg is keeping him in check as well. This is a lot closer than to be honest I thought it was. There's a lot more overtaking than I thought there would be. To be honest, I mean, we all stated that it could be a close race, but this is close, very very close.
Yes. It certainly is. Van Starkenberg isn't letting Vila Lapala pull away too much. Lapala set a fastest lap on that last lap. He's now at 0.8 seconds ahead of Van Starkenberg. And this is the point in the race where Van Starkenberg really needs to look at managing it a little bit. He doesn't want to let Lapala get too far away, but then again, he doesn't want to destroy his tyres and force his hand, perhaps having to do one more stop than everybody else and that sort of thing, in chasing a car which is much faster than him. Having said that, Lapala, where's his teammates? Lapala, supposed to be Damatos, is
16th according to live
16th.
timing.
I couldn't even find him, he's so far down. So Lapala, a good solo performance at the moment. Look at this little three-way battle here. Really exciting stuff. I think, unfortunately, Paul Lowell is perhaps holding up the train a little bit here. Although that might be a bit unfair on him, he just pulled away after a mistake and got it.
Yes, oh, it's alright. Throughout the Winter Series, I made mistakes like that, going, oh, he won't set the fastest lap, and it's like, boom, he set the fastest lap by a long time. But Leveler is still going fast. He jumped 0.2 of a second throughout the first sector on Van Starkenberg, who then pulled it back throughout the second sector. And so they're still fairly close. The gap is now 1 second. I think Lapala needs to really try and just build that lead to get away from the rest of the group, because then he can relax, he can control the race, and that's what you do when you're in the lead of the Grand Prix. You control what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. Lapala needs to set the pace right now. He's we don't know how the tyres are going to react. Of course, different drivers, they're different on the tyres. Some people may need to do more pit stops than others, and he needs to be careful that he doesn't go all out right now to try and build a big lead over Rob Van Starkenberg. As we see a twister car here, I believe. That'll be Peter Burlack, I guess. That's behind the Alberto car, so I'm not sure who this is actually.
I've tried with team names, and I believe it's Pescara, UEIN, and I think it's a new team for FSR this year. So it's pretty close out there, as I said. Lepela's controlling it at the moment. He's controlling it well. Van Starkenberg's he's not really letting him get away. He's keeping close. As the car goes into the second to last turn, that's so close. He goes a little bit wide.
It seems that Asbury corner, turn 13, I believe it is, after the Clark super fast chicane, is where all the overtaking is going on. That seems to be where it's all happening. On the outside as well, most of them are trying. Almost a bit of contact there in the background between those two. And is that Noel actually? No, that's Noel's teammate actually.
Teammate, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Noel would have had to have a problem to be all the way back behind Pescara. So that would be Cyril Verdmuller, and that would be Oslakovic and Masculi battling up front. Right, because I thought I saw a twister car, so it would be the twister car Burke ahead of Masculi. The order at the moment being Lapala leads the race from Rob Van Starkenberg, who has closed the gap a little bit. It's down to 0.6 seconds now. Wow is starting to trail. He's 2.6 seconds behind Van Starkenberg, 3.3 seconds off the lead. And then a train of cars, Gosby, Malorki, the twister, and the two twister teammates, Malorki and Burlak in 5th and 6th. Eros Masculi is in 7th place, and Luka Ostakovic in 8th. Cyril Verdmuller is in 9th, and Zoltan Suti, we don't know where the hell he started from, but he's in 10th now.
Yes, that's very true. We don't really know where he started, but Malorki is actually he's pretty fast through the second sector, which is the sector just before turn 13, which is where you stated that a lot of the overtaking is going on. But look at this, Van Starkenberg really closing up that gap.
Yeah, he's closed up, hasn't he?
Very much so. I'd say that's half a second there. I think that's half a second. So it's closing up once again. This is incredible.
Gosby and Malorki here, and Malorki with a fastest lap, he makes the position on Gosby into turn 1. So Gosby falling actually after a reasonable start from 6th place, and now he's fallen back to 5th. So Edward Malorki, for Twister Racing, getting it done, and he'll certainly now be looking at Lowell. Perhaps there's almost that can happen in a train of cars, can't it? If one person can't do it, then he'll get pounced upon. And perhaps now Malorki can use that momentum he just took from passing Gosby to pass Lowell and go up and find those leaders of the Parliament with Van Starkenberg.
Yes, Malorki, after setting that fast lap, he's now 0.6 seconds behind Lowell, who is still he's 3.3 seconds off the lead. Is Lowell, and still setting some decent laps. I mean, his last lap was only I think it was about 4 hundredths even. I'll get it right eventually. 400ths of a second slower than Lapala. So it's not that much. He's holding well. I don't think that the train behind him was his fault really. Everyone's just got so close with the time. So I wouldn't have stated that he was holding up. I mean, it looks like it on screen, but if you look at the timings, I don't think it was. Yeah,
Lowell, I mean, he has to have some pace, doesn't he? He got the pole. But that is one thing that this this style of qualifying, the single lap, you know, that it's almost it can almost become a bit of a crap. I don't mean a crapshoot, but anybody can take the pole. And that's what's so exciting about it. Because if the big guys make mistakes and they only get one chance, then that's it. As now we're on board with a Precision Motorsports car.
Gosby.
It's Gosby, and he's looking back at Malorki now. So Malorki not managing to get away from Gosby, having made the pass. So that suggests that perhaps it's one of those mistakes that we talked about earlier. Perhaps Gosby made a mistake coming out of that final corner, and that allowed Malorki to get the pass. But actually, overall, Malorki's not much faster.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would say what happened with Lowell earlier on in the race, was that he ran too far wide out of the Clark chicane, turn 12. He ran too far out onto the curb, and that cost him 2 positions, which is why he's down in 3rd now.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. He could be in the lead, foreseeably, Lowell, although then there probably would be a train since those leaders have taken off. And the gap is actually down to 0.4. While we're watching Gosby fight Malorki, really we should be looking at his teammate Rob van Starkenburg, who, as I say that,
just cutting away.
Something happened.
Oh,
Gosby.
he's
I really shouldn't try and dictate the cameras. We've got Sam on the cameras today. Sam Jones did an excellent job, and I should butt out. But yes, and of course the live timing is behind as well. But Gosby is looking very ferocious here on Malorki and Lowell. He can get 2 cars with 1 pass if he times it right. And Malorki, of course, wants to get past Lowell as well, so just be careful it doesn't get too ugly. Van Starkenburg, the gap is now 0.2. Surely Van Starkenburg must be looking at having a pass on Billy Lapala. He's all
wow,
over
look at how
his
close
gearbox.
they are now. That is close. Yes, he said 0.2 of a second. Van Starkenburg is looking like he can really foreseeably take the lead here. And it doesn't look like anyone's going to be running away with it anytime soon this afternoon. And we don't know what anyone's strategy is at the moment. You know, it's not obvious at the moment. So, you know, it's anyone at this present moment in time can take the lead and take the win for the first round of this season.
I mean, who knows? We could be being stupid. Lowell could be being very crafty and clever and holding back a bit. And in fact, it's Van Starkenburg. Oh, I was going to say, on the inside of that corner is not a good idea. Perhaps he's thought about how Billy Lapala got it done on him, and he's going to try and pick up the 60. Well, we're too wide on the exit. I think he's going to be too far back. So, I mean, that was he's certainly letting Lapala know he's there, is Rob Van Starkenburg, and that's how he works. We watched him in the World Trophy and the World Series last year, and he was certainly a very aggressive driver. Canada comes to mind. Him and I forgot who it was, but he had a superb battle fighting with him all race. Van Starkenburg certainly is an exciting driver to watch. He's 0.25 here. As we can see a battle going on in the background here between Lowell and Malorki. Malorki on the outside of turn 1. He's not.
That's aggressive.
Get that one done, is he?
That is a very good move.
Wow. So still, watch out for Gosby. And Gosby's going to get past Lowell as well. Will he in fact take 2 in 1 pass, as I suggested? No. Oh, is Lowell going to try? Oh, he's a rookie. He's got to be careful he doesn't do anything stupid here in this first race. But that was scary stuff, and Malorki's away. That
was an incredible move from Malorki. Wow, that took some serious guts into turn 1. It's a remarkably short braking zone into turn 1, considering the straight it's off. But that was such a good move, especially going into that chicane, because there's only really one line that you can take through turn 1. But that would have required some incredible trust in Lowell and just holding your breath and going for it. That was an incredible move.
Yeah, let's be fair to Lowell as well. He gave Malorki the space that he needed, and as a rookie, he's showing that he can really keep a level head.
Yes, professional racing. That's very, very good for both of them, of course.
And look at this, to the outside of turn 13, and that seemed very easy for him.
Whoa!
Oh!
Who was that? Is that Van Starkenburg?
Is that Van Starkenburg?
It is.
That is Van Starkenburg. Van Starkenburg must surely be either out of the race or in serious trouble now. I wonder what happened there. We'll get a replay. And was there cut there?
Oh, he was trying to make a move on the outside and he lost the back. That is so unfortunate, but Lapala's just come into the pits. Now, I'm going to assume he's running a 3-stop strategy if he's pitting that early, so Malorki takes the lead. That is such a shame for Van Starkenburg.
That is the downside, isn't it, of his aggressive driving style. That sort of thing can happen with real-life counterparts. Pastor Maldonado, perhaps, you know. Fast when he wants to be, exciting when he wants to be, but I'm not comparing Van Starkenberg to Pastor Maldonado at all, because I'm sure Van Starkenberg's are much better. No, but that's a real shame. It's a real shame for Rob Van Starkenberg.
It looks like he's still going. It looks like he's still going as Van Starkenberg.
I wouldn't lay that on Gosby at all. On Lapala at all, even.
Yeah.
I think Lapala was just holding his line. He had every right to do that. It was just the racing incident there, as he tried to go around the outside.
Lapala's very, very good. I mean, I watched him throughout the Winter Series, and he had some very good racing. I mean, he took 2 wins in that season, and you know, he holds what I would state is the most impressive overtake of that season in Sebring. It was a very impressive overtake, and so you know, I think he is a very good driver. He knows how to control a race, as was proven in the Winter Series, and. So I don't think either of them really made a mistake. I mean, obviously Van Starkenberg made a mistake, but I don't think it was like a really a mistake that could happen to anyone. Really, was that?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the back just stepped out. There wasn't really much he could have done, and it is an incredible shame to see him drop back that much. But focusing on the race we have now, with Gosby just setting the fastest lap of the race, he's now half a second off of the lead at the present moment in time, which is Malorki. So he's looking very strong now.
Yeah, of course. One precision car falls and another one steps up to the plate. Martin Gosby setting a very fast 1:31.1 there. It's a fair bit faster than, say, Lowell is setting a 1:31.7 and Malorki 1:31.4. So Gosby certainly stepping it up as he comes to the pit stops. And actually, Lapala, perhaps, as he comes up the pits, we've got to see what he does on this lap. This is really crucial now, because Gosby going fast, Malorki going fast. Lapala really has to set a good time here to avoid being jumped by these guys who are staying out a few laps more.
Yeah, Malorki responds with a 30.8 first sector. Lapala had the fastest final sector last lap, and now has the fastest first sector of this lap. Lapala is totally responding to the pace of the top drivers as someone's crashed out. Who was that?
Yeah, who was that? We'll get word on that, I'm pretty sure. We'll get a replay for you and see who that was. It was Rainieri.
Rainieri. Oh, he looks like he's just gotten too wide coming out of turn 12. That is an easy mistake to make. Remarkably easy there to have gotten that far. Yeah.
And he stayed in it as well.
That's
silly.
a nasty crash there.
To be fair, I don't think he should have stayed in the throttle as he did. He should have really. You know, he tried to recover it, didn't he? Essentially,
he did. He was on full throttle a bit too much there. DeMartos actually, that's Lapala's teammate. He's done the fastest first sector, so he's setting some good pace down in 18th place. Which, although sounds really, really far down, it is. But I think he has pitted at this present moment in time, so he's setting some decent pace. Oslakovic is the fastest in the second sector. So I mean, we have some close racing on the lap times. Just looking at it now,
Lapala is getting it done there with a 1:30.6. He's 4 tenths faster than Malorki on that lap. So unless Malorki and Gosby are going to try a 2-stop and try and beat Lapala that way, they're going to have to come in soon, because at the moment they're just losing time to it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say they'd probably be trying for a 2-stop, although Malorki's last lap was actually his fastest lap, so that's impressive. But DeMartos actually sets the fastest lap of the race then from 18th after a very good first sector. So, you know, it is all over the place now, because if you're smart enough when driving, and you can know how to, like, change your strategy mid-race, so that, like, you are totally aware of what could happen if this happens and that happens. You know, it requires a very stable state of mind to think like that, to think ahead far enough. You know, to not think that a 2-stop strategy is really good here or a 3-stop strategy is really good here. It's just to know it and to instinctively choose.
Gosby there, looking out of the slipstream actually of Edward Malorki down the straight. Perhaps either letting him know he's there, or anything on the cooling or anything on that engine, just saving it for the rest of the race. Perhaps he also doesn't want to destroy his tyres in the dirty air behind Malorki.
Possibly. But Lapala's last lap, here's something, was an entire second faster than Malorki. That is an incredible lap.
If Malorki and Gosby and Lowell and Verlac and all of them are doing a 3-stop strategy, they have to come in now. Otherwise, they're going to commit themselves to a 2-stop. And if they do, if we have some split strategy here, that can make this race really interesting.
I'd state a split strategy. If you're doing a two-stop strategy, I think the pit lane would probably be about 23 seconds if you do a 3-second stop. So it's a fairly long pit lane, considering very specific others. So they've got to be going only 20 seconds slower. I mean, that sounds a bit silly sometimes to go, oh, well, you're going 20 seconds slower, why can't you just go 20 seconds faster? It's because then you're burning out the tyres. So, they need to counter that. If they're anywhere, by the end of the race, and they're doing a two-stop strategy, if they're 20 seconds slower than the 3 stops, then they'll be right in that battle. But if they're any slower than that, then they're not in the lead. They're not fighting for the lead. So, it's all dependent on driving style as well as setup, I think.
And certainly Gosby seems to be laying off Milwaukee a bit here. He's not... Earlier in the race we saw Gosby really go for it on the overtakes, but now he's laying off in a little bit. He's just staying back. I don't think he's... I think he's having the presence of mind to realise the battle of Milwaukee here would not be the best thing to do for his overall race strategy, because I'm fairly sure he's going to do one this stop from Van Starkenberg.
It does look like a two-stop.
Now. In fact, Van Starkenberg must not have pitted, because funnily enough, he's only 2 seconds behind Lapala.
Yeah, I do think he's changed his strategy after that spin, because he hasn't pitted yet, as you've stated. But at least he's still in the race. I mean, that's the most important thing. At least he is still in the race. At least he can take at least 10 points if he finishes.
Yeah.
So that's
the
most important thing.
Early in the season, those 10 points could be invaluable when we get down to Brazil.
Yes, of course. I mean, if you look at Formula 1, there was 3 points different. That last year, that's not that many points. I mean, if you'd have just finished a race, Fernando Alonso, if he'd have just finished a race, either Suzuka, I think that was one of the ones that he didn't finish. If he'd have just finished that race, then he would have got on those points and probably would be a world champion, the triple world champion by now. And so that's 10 points could mean an awful lot by the time you get to the end of the championship.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So on board here with Vinny Lapala, I believe. And he's got some traffic, so this could be a thorn in his side on his 3-stop strategy. He has to dispatch this traffic, which is Zoltan Suti for Netrect and Cyril Verma for GT Omega, of course, who is the teammate of Lowell, who is higher up in the 3rd position. He has to dispatch this traffic quickly with his new tyres, otherwise it will compromise his strategy.
Very quickly, he has to really get around them within the next couple of laps. But the other thing is that I think he's about a second fastest is Lapala over the two in front. His last lap was 0.6 of a second faster. So, I mean, that is a decent amount faster, but now he's gotten into their dirty air, that is going to fall so quickly. As they're going side by side, going up to turn 12.
Yeah, they're fighting. That's exactly what Lapala wants to see, really.
Definitely. If he can just sort of sit there and them two make a mistake, then he can just take control of that, just take advantage and move up past them as he keeps looking around. Oh, this is close. Contact, I think.
Is he looking up? Oh, he thought better of that one.
Yes.
And it looks like he's going to get one of them.
Lapala's
off! Lapala has gone off, and that was always a danger in this traffic, and that is going to cost him massively.
He didn't back off enough. That was so unfortunate there.
Yeah, just passing the traffic. Here's a replay. He looked to the inside. He put better off going 3 wide, but then I think he just misjudged them, because those two, they're on older tyres than him. He has much more grip. And I think he just misjudged how slow they would be through the apex of that corner. And I don't think you can lay really the blame on Cyril Berman or Zoltan Susi there.
I think, yes, I would agree that was a misjudgment from Lapala. He should have backed off a little bit. I think he was trying to just take advantage of it. Whilst those two are making mistakes, I can just shoot round the outside, shoot around the inside in that case. And it was a misjudgment, and unfortunately, I don't like to say it, but that could have cost him the lead.
Yeah, that is one of those make or break moments. Get past them both in one corner, and he could win the race right there. But do something like that, and it's all wide open again. I'm sure Edward Malorki and Martin Gosby must be rubbing their hands with glee now. as their strategy of staying up front, staying out of trouble, seems to have worked.
Yeah, Milwaukee's actually not setting some bad times compared to Lapala's fastest, which was a 1:30.1, as Milwaukee's last lap was a 1:30.8, although that's 7/10 difference. You know, at this stage in the race, although that does matter, you know, after Lapala's mistake there, that could have handed the lead to anyone on the grid. But, I mean, Lapala's probably the first thing that's just going through his mind now is just hoping that the two-stop strategy is a mistake and that his three-stop strategy is gold. But I do believe he'd now actually be behind someone who's doing a three-stop, although I'm not really too sure about that.
Yeah, Milwaukee pit now, and he'd come out I'd say about 5 seconds behind Lapala. However,
yeah, he'd be about
12.
He'd be about 11th place if Milwaukee pitted now. So
yeah,
you know,
to remember, Lapala has to do one extra pit stop.
He does, yeah. So you know,
that's where he's got to make up about I'd say about 8 seconds every stint now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the Winter Series was people just had to do qualifying lap after qualifying lap to pull this back, and that is exactly what Lapala has to do now. I mean, whilst watching him in Long Beach, which was the third round of that season, I believe, he can set some incredibly fast laps, you know, ones that no one else can touch. And that's really what he has to do now. He's on a three-stop strategy. He can abuse the tyres a lot more than most people, especially if you're doing a two-stop strategy. And so, you know, it is all about pushing literally as hard as you can. There's no slacking anymore.
Yeah, and look how Gosby is pulling back from Milwaukee just a little bit. Now, I wonder if that's actually a conscious decision from him, not to overwork his car, not to abuse those tyres. Because we're lap 18 now, we just started. That means there's 40 to go. And if they're doing, indeed, a two-stop strategy, then we should expect them in about 5 laps time or so, do you think? Or perhaps there's more than that?
Oh, I would say anywhere between now and the next 5 laps would be a good stop for a two-stop strategy. I would say now is probably a bit too early, but about right. Because, I mean, if we're 18 laps in, 60 laps, so it's, you know, if you divide it up, now is about a little bit too early, but about right. I mean, if you pit now, then that's a good place for a two-stop strategy, but it does show that a lot of the top drivers at this present moment in time are definitely on a two-stop strategy, one of those being Milwaukee.
Perhaps they're looking also for a little bit of space to drop back into, because they do not want to happen to them what happened to Vila Lapala, and that's to get in trouble in traffic. And to be honest, I think Lapala could have held back a little bit more there. I mean, he had a little bit more time in hand than perhaps he gave himself credit for. But he went for it, and it backfired on him, unfortunately.
That is, yes, it was very unfortunate for him. But you know, this just shows that strategy plays a key role across these races, and it looks like it's going to be just as important in this season as it is anywhere else. And that is what we are looking for: is strategy. I love strategy.
The interesting thing is that Rob van Starkenburg is now back in front of Vila Lapala by 5 seconds. So I wonder what he thought as he passed Lapala's beached car. I wonder what he thought.
Well, after both of them have spun, I mean, that Van Starkenburg must have just drove past him absolutely with a grin on his face, going that I can take this back. If I play this right, I can take this back. I can take some really, really good points from that. And to say that after a spin that Robert van Starkenburg and Vila Lapala are running in 7th and 8th, that is very, very impressive, I would say.
That is testament to the quality of those two drivers. Peter Burlak at the moment, of course, the champion of the World Trophy Series last year, is right up there in 4th. And Zoltan Suti, someone who gave him a run for his money, actually, Peter Burlak. The only one who really brought it to Burlak on several occasions, of course. Lapala also managed to do so a few times. Zoltan Suti is up there in 5th place. So the World Trophy from last year is well represented here in the World Series.
Yes, of course. I mean, I think all of the series show talent. You know, that's totally obvious, and that's a really poor statement that I've just said there. But I mean, it's true. If you are fast in the World Trophy and then you move here, you're going to have that confidence. You're going to know when to do it. And as I was stating about right now, would be a great time to pit. Martin Gosby comes in for his first stop of this season.
And Milwaukee Milwaukee does not, so this could be crucial. If Gosby can get a good pit stop, a great outlap, and he can really use these new tyres to good effect, as there's someone else in the pits behind him, looks like it could be a Lowell. It is, I believe. If he can really get those... No, it's not, it's Burlack. If Burlack and Gosby now can use these tyres to excellent effect and not have the traffic... Oh, he's got the traffic as Burlack. But if he can really use these new tyres to good effect, then he can perhaps leapfrog Milwaukee here. Milwaukee has to be careful. He has to really push those old tyres, but not over the edge.
Yeah, I mean this is important because it's looking at where Lapala is in comparison to everyone else, and he is actually in front of. He's behind Gosby, so that's quite important.
But in front of Burlack, and Burlack came out. They're just behind Luka Oslakovic, and that could be a problem for him if Oslakovic is not planning to pit anytime soon. Well, you'd think there would be no one trying a one-stop, surely. And here we are with Lowell, I believe it is. Oh no, it's Cyril Bergmuller, Lowell's teammate, and he's battling here with Zoltan Suti, and Suti gets past.
That was... Wow, that was a close move. That was really good. They almost go 3 abreast into turn 13. Yeah, it's so really close out there. But Gosby sets the fastest second sector on his outlap. So that's impressive. You know, they're not cold tyres, but they're not far off.
Yeah, and Bergmuller, sorry, got past, not Suti. I'm doing a Murray Walker there. Yeah, Gosby has to get on with it now because he was only half a second, I believe, behind Milwaukee, and Milwaukee surely must be pitting soon because he's got to react to Gosby, otherwise he's going to lose it.
I think that's Starkenberg. I'm just looking at the live time. Yeah, that's Van Starkenberg. As you can see, Gosby in the background. Sorry, I made that mistake. This is quite all over the place with where everyone is at the moment after these pit stops. It's going to take us a couple of minutes to get everyone into place. But Lowell's actually leading again, so that's always nice to see. So Milwaukee's taken his pit stop and come out behind Gosby. So wow, yeah, that's really shaking
that worked for Gosby. That really did work for Gosby, pitting that just one lap earlier, getting that lap on the fresh tyres before Milwaukee and leapfrogging him. That's really worked for Gosby, and it must have been a good pit stop as well, because he did make up 1.7 seconds on that lap, surely.
That's close. That's Suti going around the outside of Van Starkenberg, I think.
Yeah, these are the two teammates, and Van Starkenberg has not pitted yet, so he's on really old tyres, I'd imagine. And he had a spin on them. And he's got to give way, surely. He has given way to Gosby. He didn't want to hold up his teammate, and now Gosby is going to try and overtake the car on the very old tyres. Zoltan Suti. Look at Gosby weaving all around him. He's got to be careful, Gosby, not to crash like we've seen Van Starkenberg and the Parley do. And now he's on the inside. And Suti.
Wow, they're side by side running through 13 and 14. Not an easy corner to go side by side, but Gosby takes the lead, and Suti goes into the pits.
Yeah, I mean, he was just getting killed out there on the
I think Van Starkenberg should have gone into the pits as well. His tyres are worn, unless he is trying a one-stop strategy, which I would say is definitely not a strategy to try.
Well, I suppose he might be just throwing the dice after his earlier spin. He might be, so dejected. He thought he could win the race, and now he might be trying anything. So, Lowell leads the race again, unless he's trying. I mean, he's 7 seconds ahead of Gosby now, is Lowell. I mean, he might be trying something. Maybe we underestimated these new tyres, these new cars. Maybe we underestimated how well they do on the tyres now.
Lowell is really doing well at the front there. You know, our pole sitter, who fell back quite early on in the race, pretty much I think it was on the first or second lap, he made a mistake coming out of turn 12 and dropped back into 3rd place. But now he's currently leading the Grand Prix with, as you say, a 7-second lead. But he did drop back 2 seconds on the last lap from his previous best, so I'm going to say that he either made a mistake or he's definitely preparing to come into the pits.
Yeah, I mean, his tyres have got to be 22 laps on them now, and the other guys have completely new tyres pretty much. He'd have to pull off something very special in order to make a one-stop strategy work. I think he'll probably be in the pits quite soon. Although he will then have fresher tyres than everybody else, and perhaps he can use that to his advantage and make some passes.
Wow, Rob Van Starkenberg still not coming into the pits, but he has got a comfortable 6.4 second gap from him to the car behind, which is Briljak. So he's currently sitting well as Gosby now sets the fastest lap of the race. Milwaukee was actually slightly were closing in there, but now that gap's gone back down to 1 second. So I think theoretically Gosby is probably the leader of this race at the moment, but you have 3 people looking like they're doing completely different strategies who look like they are, you know, pretty much leading the race, and that's Gosby, the Wow, and Lapala. Those to me look like the current leader, but Lapala's dropped back into 10th place. Has he pitted again or something? Not sure.
What's happened to Lapala there?
According to the screens, he's in 12th.
Yeah, what? Something's happening then to Villa Lapala. We'll get it to you as soon as we can. We have all sorts of sources around the track who give us information on these things.
Oh, he pitted again, so that's a really early pit stop, even if you're doing a 3-stop.
Can't be doing a 4-stop surely when we've got other people doing 2.
No, I would have stated a 3-stop would probably be around lap 29. So, you know, he's pitted in 6 laps early. Maybe he pushed too hard on those tyres. So maybe having to save these. I don't think a 4-stop is the way to go.
Perhaps we ruined them when he spun, perhaps.
I mean, yes, yeah, I suppose so. So if that is the case, so he's got to now not push quite as hard because he's got 6 laps of saving. I suppose it's 3 laps on these tyres and 3 laps on the next. But Gosby sets an incredible lap there, 129.4. Wow.
Yeah, Gosby now.
But Milwaukee set a lap just behind him, only 2 thousandths of a second slower. Those 2 are matching each other. Oh, they're so close, those 2.
And you know what? They're going to come up on Lowell in a minute, and that could be interesting because Lowell won't want to give up the lead too easily like he did last time, I shouldn't imagine. And that could be an interesting hurdle for Gosby and Milwaukee, who I think we could reasonably say are battling over the net race lead. Lowell doesn't have a chance on that sort of strategy, I think.
Lowell is 3 seconds a lap slower than Gosby. Unless he's doing a 1-stop race, which, looking at the laps we're on now, is not too far out of the question, considering he's still going, and he's only 3 seconds down. But I don't think a 1-stop strategy will work, as Gosby just has the grip coming out of turn 12, and I guess Milwaukee will follow him through, or has he dropped? No, he's dropped back a little bit too much, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, I think Lowell's a bit too far, has gone a bit too far on these tyres.
Yeah, I don't think that 1-stop strategy is going to work myself. He's going to come out the pits and he's going to have to do it all over again.
As he pits now, this is about right, unless he's doing some very odd 2-stop strategy.
He could be doing a very short middle stint or a very short final stint, perhaps.
Yes, one or the other. If he does a very short final stint, that could be a lot of places on those final few laps, which could work out for him. But at the moment, I think it kind of looks like he is on a 1-stop strategy. I don't see anything else of why you would stay out this long. I mean, that is 25 laps out on these tyres. That's just under half of the race here as he comes out. Oh, the Crown 7 Netrex car almost crashing into the side of him there. That was close.
Yeah, so he's just lost the place to Suti there. Lowell out in 6th place, and if he has to go again until the end on these tyres, you have to feel he might not even finish there. Lapala there behind him, of course, and he's pitted twice. So that just shows that that pit stops, you know, they can be worth it. It's not just a waste of time coming in and getting those new tyres. You really can make the time back, because Lapala, with a spin, is now going to overtake, perhaps, you know, just having a look, the 1-stop car of Lowell. And that's next. Gosby and Milwaukee to fight over the lead at the front.
Yes, I mean, Lapala, he's doing his 2-stop strategy, which is a 3-stop strategy, or even 4, to be honest, at this present moment in time. We're not really quite sure. But considering he has come in again to get some new tyres, his lap times are not that different from Martin Gosby's, who's leading and doing a different strategy. So,
and Lapala expertly pulls off that move on the outside of Lowell, who's on the cold tyres, of course, around the outside of turn 13. We've seen that move a few times in the race, and a few times it's been successful, a few times it hasn't. For instance, Van Starkenberg. So that was brave doing that, especially after his earlier incident with slower traffic. But Lapala proving that he wasn't shaken, and he's still got what it takes to make passes like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Lapala's teammate, which is Dematos, he's set some very fast very fast lap times. To be honest, he holds the fastest lap of the race at this present moment in time, which is 128.9. So he's setting some decent pace. It's just a shame he's all the way down in 16th place, and he's 44 seconds off of the lead, and so I'm not really sure if he can pull it back. I mean, at least it's points, it's decent points. So his goal has to be really to get into the top 10 from where he is, which he is currently about 12 seconds off. So it's not impossible, but he has to push. And considering he's setting the fastest lap of the race on quite a number of occasions in this race, that's it's not too far away from reality, to be honest, for him to move up into a decent point scoring position.
Yeah, it's an impressive drive from him so far. Oh, there's a spin. Is this Ghost Speed car? Is it Lapala again? It could well be Lapala, or that could be his teammate there.
Yeah, well, commentary curse, it's probably his teammate, DeMartos. Unfortunately, I hope... I don't know, who is that? I'm not quite sure at the moment.
Well, he's on his own now, so it's hard to tell. There's no other cars as a reference point.
Oh, that is Ville Lapala.
Wow. Oh, wow.
That is a shame. That's going to really hit his strategy hard once again. Oh, he's going to be kicking himself. I think he's made a couple too many mistakes now.
Yeah, you know. He's pushing too hard to try and make up for earlier mistakes and just making more mistakes. And I mean, it's a common error. I mean, he's just moved up to the World Series. He's trying to impress. I mean, he certainly would have impressed with his early race form, but he's just got to now bring it home. He's got to take some solid points and start again in the next race of the season.
Yes. But has Lowell mustn't have pitted, considering he's only 21.5 seconds off of the lead. But he's only 0.9 seconds off of Nagy, so he's actually going pretty well at the moment. But he must have pitted, surely, considering.
Yeah, he did pit. Yeah,
he did pit. That's not just me thinking about going a bit weird. It's fine. But yeah, because we were discussing the strategy. It's still a bit of a weird strategy, I will say. But Colorex now set the fastest lap of the race. But I mean, strategy is completely all over the place. As there goes a GT Omega car. I think that is Lowell there. Is that?
Yeah, that's well the two
one
teammates.
Lowell and both of them. Yes.
Us together. Lowell, of course, actually. Ooh, and that's a very brave move on the inside of Nagy there. That was very brave, and now he's going to set off after Zoltan Suti. And considering that we think Lowell's doing a one-stop strategy and has to look after his tyres, that's not a way to look after his tyres. And is his teammate Cyril Vermeulen going to follow through on Nagy? So we got a situation where the top three are Precision of Godspeed, and then the two twisters of Milwaukee and Burlack. And Burlack has been quietly superb so far. In third in his first race, having moved up to a full-time World Series driver. Yes.
Vermeulen has moved past Nagy now. He went round the, I think that was the outside of turn 4. That was an impressive move. Wow.
So Nagy falling back. We haven't really been following Nagy much. He's just been around there in the top 10.
He is falling back quite quickly now as Van Starkenberg's right over the rear wing of that. He's coming down into turn 9. He's through. I'm feeling really bad for Nagy there. He's falling back again. He's got another car right on his rear wing.
Well,
that is Lapala. He's going around the outside, coming up into turn 11, but he holds his ground.
Don't make another mistake, Lapala, please. Just stay in the slipstream here and get past him safely. And he should do it this time. We're on board now.
Oh, that's close.
Nagy making his car as wide as possible. But let's see if he can try this move again, which has been successful for him so far.
Oh, he's made a mistake again. Oh, Lapala. What's going on, mate?
Yeah, oh, that's a shame. I wonder if there was contact there with Nagy, because he's made that move stick a fair few times, and now, in fact, Nagy's pulled into the pits now, so I wonder if Nagy's trying a one-stop, or maybe he was one of those ones who pitted very early in the two stops. Maybe he's converted to a 3, that's the only thing I can think of.
That was such a shame there for Lapala to drop. Oh, that's another mistake. I wonder if there was contact between the two of them. It didn't look like it, to be honest. I mean, he didn't see the car shake and go onto the grass. It just looked like he went wide.
Yeah, it just looked like he's kind of lost the front end a little bit there. He tried to get alongside out the corner, and he just instead of taking out Nagy, he just decided to let the car straighten out, and he went straight into the sand trap. At least he had the presence of mind not to try and save it too fast, and he didn't pull a Rainieri from earlier in the race, and he actually managed to finish the race. So Gosby leading then from Malorki and Burlak, the two twister cars there together. Zoltan Suti from NetRex leads Lowell, who I think might be trying something different, one stop perhaps. Rob van Starkenberg, after leading the race early, I called his excellent start, but I didn't call what happened after that, which was unfortunately a spin for him, and he's now down in 6th place, the teammate of the leader. Cyril Verbmuller is in 7th, Villa Lupala is 8th, Kolarek has managed to creep up to 9th place, and Eros Musculi is in 10th currently.
We've had some very good, very close racing. As you were saying about Van Starkenberg, he had such a good start that unfortunately fell apart after that. But to say that he's back into 6th place, he's 1.5 seconds off of Lowell. He's come back into this. I mean, only one would wonder what would happen if he hadn't have made that mistake.
Of course, Lupala earlier, we didn't blame him at all for Rob van Starkenberg's spin, but having seen the day he's having, you wouldn't be surprised if he was in some way responsible. He's having an awful day with mistakes, Lupala. It's a shame because he's got so much pace, but he's just been all over the place. Perhaps it's just the excitement of moving up to a new series. It's just the excitement of the new season, the nerves perhaps of a championship challenge even being in the making have just affected him. He's really got to just try and bring the car home now with no more mistakes, please.
Yeah, I mean, Lupala is an incredibly fast driver. He was very fast across the Winter Series. I mean, some of the wins he just took with absolute dominance the 2 wins. He is an incredibly quick driver, and I mean, he's had some racing across the Winter Series, but the racing in the Winter Series was debatable from some of it because there wasn't that much. It was quite a lot of it was a procession. For some of it, I mean, we had some good ones, some good overtakes. One of them being from Lupala at Sebring, as I stated earlier. But I mean, he just seems out of form, really, out of character from some of the stuff that I saw from the Winter Series. He looked so focused and just controlling the race, and now he's, that's we saw the 3rd mistake of this race, and it is totally unfortunate.
Certainly, also. Not like his World Trophy form from last year. I mean, last year he finished 2nd, of course, to Peter Burlak, and he did win a few races. I believe he won Hungary. I'll just get it out now on GPCOS. He won Hungary. He won a fair few, and he won Korea as well. He was one of those guys who really could take it to Burlak when nobody else could, apart from perhaps Zoltan Suti on a few occasions. So that's why he's moved up to the World Series, and I'm sure he'll settle in after a few races. It's just probably the nerves. And speaking on the opposite of that, though, Peter Burlak, how well he settled in. He's had a very quiet race in the moment, in the podium spot, and so far he's doing superbly. What is this? Is this Gosby and Malorki here?
Gosby and Malorki closing up to 0.4 of a second. They're coming up to traffic. This could be very, very interesting.
Yeah, did you see them down the straight though? Gosby's trying to slip speed Malorki. I'm sure that's hardly going to be effective at all. Look how much better Malorki is.
Wow, that was incredible braking there by Malorki. That was not too late, but wow, that was a very good braking there.
And you'd have to think that they're coming up on pit stops soon. Being
traffic moved out of the way.
Now out of 58.
Whoa, that was close.
Oh, yeah, close there. Being on lap 31 out of 58, you'd have to think they're coming up to pit stops, and perhaps Malorki is going to look at doing to Gosby what Gosby did to him on the first pit stop. Pit 1 lap earlier or later, and make up the ground outside the pits and come out of the pits in front.
Yes, of course. I mean, it's as we stated earlier, strategy is everything here. Strategy at the moment, especially in this first race season, it's working out how far you can go on these tyres. And you get like, that was a bit scary moment from Malorki there. But yes, it's all about knowing the tyres and knowing how you can push and that's what happened last year in Formula 1 with the Pirelli tyres. It's learning how you can use them. How much, if you push, if you don't, what happens. And so strategy here is a huge learning curve from all of the drivers. And so, you may have strategy changes, as I think we've had from quite a few of the drivers. But now I think what could be going through their mind is, what if, we're on the last part of this stint on these tyres. What if we just push as hard as we can on these tyres, because we're not going to be using them for much longer. It's not like it's the first laps. Oh, that's Gosby making a slight mistake, I think. He oversteered a little bit coming out of that corner, which has given Milwaukee so close on that rear wing. He's going to be in perfect opportunity for the exit of turn 12.
He's just going to stay in the slipstream, look for the long straight after the clutch chicane or before it, and see if he can perhaps make a move, perhaps either into that fast chicane of 11-12 or into the Ascari turn 13.
I think his perfect move would be up into turn 13 out of turn 12, because if he can get a good drive... Oh, no, he's gone a bit too wide.
Oh, no. He messed it up there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but... I mean, yeah, as I was saying, that if you push hard enough now, you may push too hard and spin off, but these tyres may be good enough to hold until you pit, and that's what they're all learning about now.
Yeah, exactly. That's as you said, you hit the nail on the head when you said that they're not going to need these tyres within a few laps' time, so they might as well just race the hell out of it and take all the life out of those tyres that they have. Squeeze the performance out of them because they're not going to need them again ever. So that's what we're seeing here. As we get to the end of the stint, they just start to really ramp it up. The speeds will probably pick up a little bit. The intensity certainly is picking up here as Milwaukee locking up here behind Gosby. He really wants to get past even before the pit stops, perhaps, although he's in a perfect position to make a pit stop and catch Gosby off guard.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much anywhere between now. If you're on a two-stop strategy, I would state that it is in about a couple of laps' time. Anywhere between a couple of laps' time and about 5 laps' time would be the perfect time to pit. So they've got. I think they've got a little bit longer on these tyres, but this is the time when it is time to push on them. Because as we stated, there's just no need to use them ever again. But, I mean, what Milwaukee's looking like he's doing now is he's just keeping Gosby under pressure. He's waiting for that mistake. If Milwaukee can get around Gosby without actually having to move off the racing line and it being Gosby's mistake, that will be the absolute perfect thing for Milwaukee. He goes a little bit too deep into into turn 15 there. That was a bit brave.
And look how he's trying to bit slipstream down the home straight. That's surely gaining fractions of a second, but every little bit of track position counts here now, because the closer Milwaukee is to Gosby as he makes his pit stop, the more the chances of Milwaukee getting out in front, or in fact if he's even going to try and move before his pit stop in a few laps' time. The gap across the line there, 0.3, I believe that means 0.368, and Milwaukee piling on the pressure. Like you say, he's just making sure that Gosby knows he's there. And it's really about who will blink first now. Who is going to be the first one into the pits, because Gosby could come in a lap too early and then Milwaukee could get in while he's on the cold tyres. Or he could come in a lap too late and Milwaukee could get him on the new tyres. Either way, Gosby is kind of in the place I would want to be in. I want to be in Milwaukee's seat. And
keeping Gosby under pressure. Also, Gosby's tyres, it's only one lap, but Gosby pitted a lap early and jumped Milwaukee earlier on in the race, I believe. And so, if he does that again, maybe it won't work, or maybe Milwaukee's like, what if I pit a lap early? Maybe I can jump Gosby. So,
exactly, yeah.
So, this is when yes, as you said, it's who blinks first, who goes into the pits first, and who can push hard enough on these tyres. And at the moment, I wouldn't state that either one is faster than another. I mean, they are both setting fairly similar sector times. I'd say Milwaukee's probably a little bit actually faster than Gosby.
Look how Gosby dives for that inside on the home straight.
Defending.
He doesn't want him to get any advantage whatsoever.
He's defending really well is Gosby. I mean, he's kept Milwaukee behind for a considerable amount of time this race. So he's doing very well at the front there.
Yeah, he really is. Dictating the pace at the moment, but he's just got to be careful he doesn't fall foul to that leapfrog manoeuvre, which I'm sure Milwaukee is trying, although Milwaukee just falling off a little bit from Gosby over those last few corners. And Gosby has really got to pick his time to pounce. He's just got to go for it, pit, and hope he can come out in front of Milwaukee, who will surely pit either that before or after. If they both pit together, that can make it interesting, because then it'll be a battle of who is the best at getting stops in their pit stops, getting the tyres on, and getting out again. And we've got to be careful they don't take each other out, actually, because not the widest of pit lanes here, is it?
It most certainly is not. It is quite a narrow pit lane, as is with the case with most street circuits. But Lapala coming back there, setting the fastest lap of the race so far. Milwaukee looks like he's dropping back, but I think they were pushing very, very hard last lap, because Milwaukee did set the fastest second sector of the race on these very worn tyres. But now is basically, it's about now, maybe within the next 5 laps is the perfect place to stop for the two-stop strategy, which is what I believe Gospi and Milwaukee is. I think it's pretty much all said and done with what strategy they're doing at this present moment in time, and it is the strategy that is working.
You know, the thing is, they do have the time to kind of put off this pit stop as much as possible, because neither one of them wants to blink first, because Peter Burlack is actually 16.7 seconds behind Milwaukee, so plenty of space back to his teammate has Evan Milwaukee, and he doesn't have to worry about messing up and being caught from behind. I think it's a battle between these two for the win. Back behind, the closest battle is Kolarek on Verdmuller.
Yeah.
But apart from that, you know, it's kind of a little bit spread out. Here is that battle. Kolarek for Ghost for I don't know, all these new paint schemes. Who's Kolarek driving for?
Good question. Kolarek is driving...
The versus...
Well, I'm
Venus
not sure.
Project Racing.
Yes, the Venus Project Racing, yes.
Right, and the same as Luka Osnakovic.
Yeah.
Who I always remember Osnakovic from a massive crash in Canada last year.
Oh, really?
Where he just took someone out and went straight across the track. That's all I can remember Osnakovic. Sorry, I'm sure he's done some great drives over his sim racing career, but that's what sticks in the mind.
Yeah, I mean...
But yes, Osnakovic has actually been outperformed by Kolarek here, so it's a good drive from him.
Yeah, I mean, Kolarek actually is doing pretty well to keep close to Verdmuller. He's done a little bit faster. I think they're matching each other pretty much. Sector time for sector time is the live timing's just about to update for sector 2. So yeah, they are keeping very close, very very close actually. Surprisingly, looks like Kolarek's just a little bit faster.
It's interesting to see where Lowell will come out, because well, people will come out in relation to Lowell actually, because that looks like that's Kolarek taking the pits now. Lowell is in 6th place, and he's 30 seconds behind the leader. Now, you reckon about 20 seconds, 23 seconds?
About 23 seconds. I think if Gosby pits, he will come out in and around Kasuti, so that'll be close.
So Gosby and Milwaukee will come out in front of Lowell, but everyone else will come up behind him. And if Lowell is doing a one-stop as we think he is, then people will have to pass him. And if he can defend, if the rookie can defend, then Lowell could perhaps get a really good result here, even a podium from the pole. Saving what looked to have gone down the pan his race earlier with a one-stop strategy. Could save a podium here if he can defend well.
If he can defend well, I mean, if you look at what happened prior to his pit stop when he started falling back, he was falling back very, very quickly, and you know it was very unfortunate, which he has brought back. I think a podium is a little bit out of reach with the strategy that he's on, considering, yeah, okay, he would be in front of everyone other than Gosby and Malachi if he stays out, which you know I don't see why Lowell would pit again. But he has got 20 laps to go on these tyres. That's the easy thing to get, is that he's got a long time. He's basically got as long as everyone else has got from... No, if Gosby pits now, he's going to be on fresh tyres. Lowell has to go, you know, about 10 laps. I think it's 15 laps further on his tyres.
Yeah,
that is an incredible distance. So far. It's an incredible distance.
And impressive from a new rookie driver to this series as well. So, you know, it's been impressive from Lowell, and perhaps he'll turn a few heads with this performance today, especially taking that pole position. Milwaukee then just falling back from Gosby, you have to feel. And Gosby starting to turn the screw at the front now. You know, he's really showing Milwaukee this pace he has. and surely they have to be pitting soon, unless they're all trying a one-stop strategy. Unless these tyres are just lasting so well, you know, that would be a really quite a turn of events.
That would be quite a turn of events. I wouldn't be too sure because you know, considering they would have been doing, you know, by the end of the race they would have done 40 laps on these tyres. Not impossible, but you know, I think we have to patiently wait and see what's happening. But as you stated with Lowell, even if he doesn't really finish that high, I think he's shown that he's got the guts to try something different from the other drivers, you know, to attempt a one-stop, because it could have paid off. It could have given him, you know, the lead by a massive margin. It could have done. It could have given him anything. But you know, it's bitten him back a little bit. But he's attempted it. He's tried it. For a rookie to try that is impressive.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of guts as well, doesn't it?
Yes,
as a rookie, as you say, it takes a lot of guts because he could look stupid, and he hasn't. So he's impressed us with the way he's looked after those tyres, and indeed his raw speed to get the pole position. That's impressed us too. We'll certainly be looking out for him in future races.
I definitely will be. That was impressive to get that
Milwaukee
pole.
now has dropped back a fair bit actually from Gosby. You can see there's almost that straight between turn 13 and 14. There's almost the sort of gap they had. It's 1.2 seconds, and this would be, if Gosby's going to pit, this would be the time to do it when he's got this gap over Milwaukee, and he can make a little mistake perhaps on his pit stop and still just about come out in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree about it. It's getting a bit late now to pit. Well, you know, it's never too late to pit. But they have to be pitting any time soon. There's 17 laps to go. I don't think they can make the entire 40 laps on these. But I'm happy to be proven wrong. It happened a lot in the winter series, which is why I don't really like making huge predictions. Yeah. But you know, I think it's a bit steep to go the extra 17 laps on these tyres. I think that's a bit much to ask from these tyres.
Yeah, I do agree. It's definitely would be a real turn. I wouldn't have expected it, that's for sure. But you have to say it's been a bit of a race of two halves, if that's not too cliched. The first half of the race was so aggressive, everybody fighting, people going off left, right, and centre. You know, overtaking manoeuvres that really take out the tyre. This second half of the race has been much more controlled. It's been about strategy. It's been about making up time, racing to numbers almost. You know, making up the numbers. And that's perhaps allowed them to control how they wear their tyres down, and perhaps it's you know, changed the strategy for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think the strategy, especially here, is really dependent on what everyone else is doing in some very specific, you know, respects. Just because you know, from like a math standpoint, that a two-stop strategy is faster than a three-stop strategy, or a three-stop is faster than a four-stop, doesn't mean that they won't work, or that you can't win on them. You know,
the thing is, we never really know with the three-stop, did we? Because the Parla just messed it up with all these mistakes.
Yeah. I mean, really, I think the Parla is one of the very few people who's actually doing a three-stop. Surprisingly. It seems like two stops actually being the main thing here, although you know, it's looking more and more likely that they're staying out. I think what Gosby and Milwaukee are doing now is they're probably staying out as long as possible on these tyres. Milwaukee's probably trying to match. Oh, there's someone spinning. Who was that? It was one of the people a lap down, I think.
Yeah, just had a little bit of a heart attack there, thinking that could have been Milwaukee, but Milwaukee's safe. He's still dropping off the pace, but that wouldn't have been nice for him to watch. Right in his mirrors. That's not what you want to see, although I guess it's better than seeing it right in front of you.
But I think it's always scary to be turning a corner and then seeing a car turn completely the other way, and you know, going head on. That's always a scary thing to do. You know, whether it's in this, whether it's in real Formula 1. You know, I think in real Formula 1 is probably a bit more scary, but
just a little
bit more scary. But you know, I kind of a little bit worried there if that was either Gosby or Milwaukee, but they're going strong. But yes, as I was saying, I think they're going as long as possible on these tyres, and if if they are still doing a two-stop strategy, Milwaukee's matching Gosby, and Gosby's pushing as far on these tyres as possible, hoping that Milwaukee makes a mistake as they're so degraded. But
I
then,
have to say, the longer you go on these tyres, the more effective a leapfrog manoeuvre would be, because the slower you're going on the old tyres.
Yeah, exactly. But I think whoever pits first out of Gosby and Milwaukee will probably have the lead, unless they both pit at the same time. Then it's all a bit all over the place. But yeah, I will agree with you. A leapfrog move from Milwaukee's, I think he should try it, because I mean
if he goes for it, and then Gosby doesn't pit, he almost has nothing to lose, because he'll certainly get past Burlack. He'll only have to make up about 7 seconds.
Yeah, of course.
And in fact, Gosby could make a mistake on his old tyres, and Milwaukee will end up winning the race. So
yeah,
I mean, Milwaukee has much to lose here.
Yeah, I think if they pit now, they'll be pushing very, very hard on their next set of tyres, and I think that's the point of them staying out as long as they are, is so that when they get that fresh rubber for their second stop, they can push as hard as they want on them, because it just doesn't matter anymore, because these tyres will last the next 15 laps. But it's always exciting to see what's about to happen, because you never really know what's around the next corner.
Yeah, well, as you say, hope it's not a car facing backwards. That's not what Gosby or Milwaukee or any of these drivers want to see right now. The gap's still going up, just creeping up. Gosby's controlling the pace you have to feel at the moment. We're on board right now with Vila Lapala, who's all on his own, unfortunately. He looked like the one to beat earlier in the race. Got a few mistakes to overtake him. First, he crashed with Rob van Starkenberg, which put Van Starkenberg out of contention for the win. And then he made a mistake having a spin as he tried to overtake some traffic, which was on older tyres than him. Then he made a mistake in turn 13. Again, this time he was on the receiving end as he tried to go around the outside of some slow traffic once again. And then again, I believe it was on the outside of Zoltan Suti, or no, it was Nagy actually. Yeah, on the outside of Nagy into turn 13, he went far too wide, and all that has just built up, and Lapala has lost a chance to have a really solid finish today. Now we're on board here with the battle. It must be between Zoltan Suti and Rob van Starkenberg. And Rob van Starkenberg, after that mistake, has recovered superbly in the excellent fashion that he always does. And now we should see the excellent fashion of overtaking that Rob van Starkenberg has modelled superbly in the previous series.
Yeah, I mean, Rob van Starkenberg looking very good in that Precision Motorsports car, getting back on top with Gosby, leading in a position. Oh, they're side by side. Oh, Gosby's.
Suti's no slouch either.
Yeah, Rob van Starkenberg.
Suti will not give up that position as easily as Van Starkenberg would like, and this should be exciting, because I do love watching Rob van Starkenberg break down a drive.
Oh, he goes into the pits.
Actually, that's probably a better way past him. And this could set it off. This could be the spark that ignites the fire.
This is when the pits could become very, very busy. I think Milwaukee has actually pitted. Yes, has just got confirmation, because I just noticed that he's dropped back 13.8 seconds.
Yeah, unless somebody else, but Milwaukee has pitted, yes. So Gosby has to react now. If Gosby's going to pit, he has to react now. Otherwise,
I think Gosby has to pit in the next lap.
Oh,
he has to.
He absolutely does.
Milwaukee's looking. He's going to be pretty racy on these new tyres, so I think Gosby just has to pit now. There is no alternative. He has to, unless he's really trying to wreak out a one-stop strategy.
No,
which
I don't see much point.
I find unlikely.
Unless it will be just to avoid the danger of pitting and having a mistake there. I don't see much point, because if he pits and he comes out in front, then he should win. And here is Gosby. Will he pit? Will he pit?
Yes, he will. He will.
Oh,
he's coming into the pits. This is exciting. Okay, so who's going to be leading? I would state, just going to say it now. I'm going to say that Milwaukee is probably going to be leading after this. However, I don't mind being proven wrong. But
with the sector times, he wasn't that much faster in sector 2, Milwaukee. Remember, Milwaukee's on cold tyres, so
is that it? No. Here we go. There he is. Oh. I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. It's always a good thing.
However, Gosby has cold tyres now. If we stay on board with these two, Gosby has the colder tyres, and Milwaukee has the warmer tyres. So if Milwaukee can make up the ground here, if he can get past this lap car, which is in the middle of them, then
I'm surprised that Milwaukee is as far behind Gosby as he is. Gosby must have had an incredible in-lap.
You know, I think what it was is that Milwaukee didn't get his new tyres up to temperature fast enough. He set a purple final sector, but his middle sector was average. You need to get those tyres up to temperature within one sector if you're going to have any chance of making the leapfrog work. He didn't do it. He matched Gosby in the middle sector. He got the pace in the final sector, but it was too late. He's been trumped by Gosby, who came to the pits just when he had to.
Yeah, I mean, I think either way, I think it's twisted. Milwaukee and Wilczek having a very good day, running in second and third. I think their team would be, them two as a team would be happy with where they currently are, because second and third is a good position. I mean, it's not first, but I think Milwaukee is in a good place to at least start challenging Gosby for the lead.
You have to ask, will Black even pit? I mean, because there's only 11 laps to go now, and Lowell, we think, is doing a one-stop strategy. So if he pits, he could actually fall victim to Lowell, and Burlak could finish outside off the podium. Or if he doesn't pit, Lowell isn't going to catch him up, because Burlak only pitted, a few laps earlier than Lowell, really. He's not going to catch up the 14 seconds between them. Is that
him there?
Right now? No, that's Rob Van Starkenberg.
No,
that is Burlak. It's on the side. That is Burlak. And he's come out. That's Lowell. So here we have.
Lowell's gone past.
Now.
Yes.
Now, obviously, it should be easy in theory for Burlak because he has about 23 laps fresher tyres than Lowell.
Unless we're all reading this completely wrong, I'm not really sure at the moment.
That car said Burlak on the side. I'm certain of it. And Lowell should be right in front of Burlak by now. Yeah, he is. So this is the battle for the final podium position. Yeah. For now, forget Milwaukee and Gosby because this one's crucial too. There's a big difference between finishing on the podium and not finishing. It's 50, 40, 30. Well, then it goes down in tens, and then it goes down in 5. So it's 50, 40, 30, 25, 20, and then it goes down in 2s all the way down to 10. So there's 5 points at stake. There's a 5-point swing. And
here we go. Here's the move.
Turn 13, which has been the favourite overtaking place of most.
Once again, turn 13 is the overtaking place, but Gosby set the fastest lap of the race. He's trying to get away from Milwaukee there. So there's 1.7 seconds between them at the moment. But yes, turn 13 seems to be the prime overtaking opportunity on this circuit at this present moment in time. That was an incredible lap by Gosby. Damn.
Yeah, I think what it is it's that fast chicane. People make mistakes through it when they're worried about the car behind them. That's in their mind, and they're just maybe throttle on a bit,
lift off a bit,
early or late, lift a bit too much, and that's where they fall victim. Also, because the speed's still up, and the slipstream is very effective down that straight, more effective than if it was out of a slower hairpin or something.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's
wow.
That's why it really works. I think turn 13.
Yeah. I mean, that's the perfect reason of what could be going on. It's just lifting off a little bit. But Martin Gosby just set a first sector time that was 0.3 faster than Milwaukee, and his last lap was half a second faster. So Gosby on these tyres, currently leading, he looks very, very comfortable to taking the win today. Yeah,
I mean, save any last-minute drama, which we've seen plenty of times in all of FSR's fantastic series, and certainly in the World Series. Save any last-minute drama, you'd have to think Gosby is in the driving seat right now. Obviously, they're all in the driving seat, but you know what I mean. He's in pole position to take the win today. Milwaukee is he's in no danger at all from Burlak, his teammate, and it's really about the lower positions right now. I mean, Lapala on his recovery. Oh, what's this going on here? Is this Lapala trying to get?
No, yeah, it looks like it does look like Lapala.
Is this
have a look.
Lapala trying to get past Musculi or something?
Yes, looks like it. I will apologise to anyone watching that we may be a little bit slow on this for a little bit, but we'll get there.
It's a different system to last year. Last year we were using the in-game, which is a problem because people could. Yeah,
it was Lapala. Yeah. Oh, there's someone spinning in the background. Who was that spinning in the background?
Who's that? Who is that in the background? It looks like it is.
It did look like. I think it was a Precision Motorsport. I don't know. I can't.
It looked like an Omega car to me.
Did it?
I think
Okay.
It might have been. Here we go. It looked like it was Cyril Verdmuller, and Cyril Verdmuller is registering in 10th at the moment.
But that's according to live time, so that's probably going to drop if it does anytime soon. So wow, well, that was massively unfortunate. Well, I'm sure we'll find out who that was very, very soon.
Yeah, fairly sure it's silver, but it looked like a white car.
Yeah, yeah.
And it can't have been Lowell, because Lowell's way up in 6th position. So Gosby still extended the gap. It's now 2 seconds, and it looks like he is really pulling away at this. He's really putting his stamp on this victory. This is one he wants. Martin Gosby wants to go and take the championship lead in the first race of the season. As he, you said earlier before the race actually that we can't take too much of this. As Keithley finished 16th last year on his way to the World Series Championship, so we can't take too much away from this race. But Gosby certainly is looking really strong.
He looks so comfortable in the lead. 2.7 seconds is the gap now. And
of course,
considering
this would be back-to-back.
Pardon?
Back-to-back for Gosby, because he won Interlagos.
He won in Interlagos. He finished last year the way he should have done, and he's starting this year in a way he really wants. So he is looking on top form. Is Martin Gosby?
Yeah, and Van Starkenberg, of course, finished 2nd in that race, and he has not managed to carry the form through quite as well. But he's still been impressive. I've always been impressed with Peter Barlak, how he's come up through the ranks. We've seen the other guys who come up from World Trophy make mistakes. We've seen Zoltan Suti. He's been solid. We've seen Lapala make mistakes. We've seen Ostakovic. He hasn't been too eye-catching. But Peter Barlak has given a really solid drive. He's only 1 position off his teammate Edward Malorki, and I'd say Peter Barlak so far has really impressed and showed that he can step it up at this level.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. He has totally impressed. He's 20.7 seconds behind his teammate, but I think he's running a different strategy, and that's still a podium place. That is still a strong finish, especially for someone new to the World Series. So, he's looked very, very good in 3rd place. And Van Starkenberg, someone who was leading the race earlier on, it doesn't look like that he's getting too close to Biljak at the moment. So that's what's this?
Kolarek and
Wow.
So maybe it's kind of backfiring now on the WoW, because he's trying his one-stop bit. Is that the WoW? I can't even tell. But it's certainly a ghost speed car, so you think it's Lapala actually, wouldn't you?
I
think
would.
It was Lapala in Kolarek.
Yeah, Villa Lapala, that was Lapala.
Yeah, Lowell, you'd start to think he'd be dropping off. Indeed, there we go. There's the time gap. That's what we want to see. 4 seconds. Kolarek is falling behind Lowell, and Lowell's got much older tyres. So this shows the sort of performance that Lowell's putting in here.
Yes, definitely. I think Lowell, he's done well. I think he might have pitted again, actually, looking at how far he is behind Kasuti. Because he was running in 4th place, and I don't think he would have dropped. I think it's about 20 seconds that he would have dropped from Biljak, because I think those two were not far off each other. Am I correct when Biljak came out of the pits?
Yeah, that's about right. Barlak was just behind him, and now he's dropping way back. Barlak had to pass Lowell, remember, when he came out.
Yeah. So I think Lowell either has pitted. Or
I shouldn't think he'd do that with this few laps to go.
Well, I don't know,
those old tyres.
Because considering how much he's dropped time-wise, I mean, he's dropped 20 seconds from Biljak. So either he's made a huge mistake, or he's dropping like a stone. Yeah.
He's not that bad, is he?
No.
So I think you're right.
Yeah, I would say that he's pitted because tyres that old. I think he's realised that his strategy of doing a one-stop wouldn't have worked. But, I mean, if he's come out, I mean, he's got 13.1 seconds to the car in front, so if he has just come out, I don't see why there's any reason why he isn't pushing literally as hard as he can. Maybe he is.
Well, maybe he is, and he's just a bit tired, or I don't know, it can be exhausting, not just for the commentators, and this is Lapala now, and making an extra move there on Kolarek, but Kolarek gets him back. Oh.
That was That was a great cutback from Colrec, yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And Lapala now hasn't got the chance to get the slipstream into turn 13. So actually,
well, here we go. Actually, he's got on a really good drive into turn 12. Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. It's going to go on the inside. It's going to go on the inside into turn 13. Is he going to go through, or is he going to? Oh,
there's a bit of contact there, I think.
That was close.
They both hold on, and the amount of mistakes Lapala's made in that corner so far, he's got to be careful. We don't want to say any more.
This is so close between those two.
This is the closest battle on track right now. The battle up front, Malarkey 3.7 seconds off Gosby, so don't worry, you're not missing anything there. This is the most exciting action. He's actually going to switch them down the front straight, but if you can't do anything there, just make sure that Colrec can see him in his mirrors. And he might have
got a great
now
drive up turn 2.
On the outside, perhaps.
Oh, he is. He's going for it. He's not
late
quite.
Braking.
Oh, he's there on the inside of turn 4.
He's there, isn't he?
He's through. I think he's through. Is he through? Yes, he is.
Colrec needs a lot of space on the outside there, and I think it would have been unfair actually if Colrec had kept that position.
Had come back, yeah.
He used too much space there. But that was an exciting battle there. And
yes, I mean, if Lapala had got that wrong, that would have been bad for his race.
Yeah, I mean, he's already made enough mistakes. We don't want to see any more, but perhaps now he's really settled into his rhythm, and perhaps those nerves from earlier in the season have gone. And Colrec's got to be careful here, because after that battle, that's really brought Eros Musculi right up to the caravan, and Cyril Verbula. After that, Nagy's way back. But Musculi and Verbula here, they could fight over the 8th, 9th, and 10th position with Colrec. Yeah,
I mean, this is closing up once again towards the end of the race. This is looking like it's getting just a little bit closer. Cars are closing up, so I think we've got a very interesting last 4 laps to the race.
Yeah, certainly those 8th, 9th and 10th positions are going to be fought over right to the end, I think. Looks like Gosby's really controlling it out front, and Van Starkenberg, perhaps Van Starkenberg can try something on Burdock. Watch that space, because he's been closing on him, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. I mean, I think most of the grid has just been slightly closing up throughout the race. As I said, the Polar looks like he's trying to drift away a bit now from Colrec. Live timing finally updates. It's been a bit slow recently, but the Polar's now made that gap, 1.9 seconds between him and Colrec now. But Colrec is moving. I wouldn't say he's moving backwards, but Musculi is closing in. It does look.
You know, I'm really confused about Lowell. I'm not sure if he did pit, because now he's back to 129s when everybody else is doing 126s and 7s. So I'm not sure if maybe he spun off or something.
Very confusing pace there from Lowell, yes.
Yeah, inconsistent for sure. He was 126s earlier, and now suddenly he's back up to 1. So unless he made a mistake on that lap, it's hard to know really. But perhaps that's another one that could be under contention. That 6th position that Lowell currently holds, he's about 6 seconds ahead of Lapala. But Lapala is, currently he's doing 3 seconds a lap faster if the times are to be believed.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to place his pace, because it's sometimes really fast and it's sometimes really slow. I'm now really confused if he's pit. Maybe he's slowing down in stages, but there's only one way to find out, and that's just to wait the next 3 laps out.
And now he's trying to make his way through this lap traffic. This isn't the WoW we're focused on at the moment. Can't tell who the lap traffic is anymore, because we're not in game. We can't see the names floating above them. But he's trying to make his way.
This is the battle for 8th, so it's Colrec and Musculi.
Right. So I see. So is our live timing a bit behind us? It appears it is.
I think it is. I think the live timing is slightly behind.
I see. So this is the part. This would be that would be Verbula then, if that's a GT Omega car. If this is the battle for 8th, 9th and 10th, that would be Cyril Verbula, who has just made his way past Colrec and Musculi.
That would have been impressive. Wow.
That would be very impressive. There's Colrec.
There's Colrec. Hey, God, we're all over the place.
This is tough, yeah.
It's because we're all using a bit of new software here and all that. So, you know, we're trying out new things at the moment, so I still think it's going well.
I hope so. I mean, it's just getting a bit confusing when the old live timing goes a bit too slow, and that's been throwing us off a little bit. But
yeah.
But anyway, this is a GT Omega car. It's either Lowell or Vertmuller. Either Vertmuller's pulled off something amazing, or Lowell has fallen back loads.
I think Lowell
really
has. Lowell's in 6th, according to the times that's just coming up. He's 3 seconds in front of Lapala. See, there he is. He's coming up to turn 3. That is. So I don't think he's dropped that far back. So Vertmuller's going very well.
Yeah, Vertmuller's right on the back of Musculi, if our live timing is to be believed. But Musculi's a second behind Kolarek. Kolarek's a bit over a second behind Lapala, and Lapala is catching fast to Lowell. So these last few positions could all come together here, as I believe we're over on the final lap of the second to last lap. I can never tell with that.
I believe we have just entered the final lap. I'm sure we'll get an update on that.
Yeah, and indeed, I've just realised that our live timing is incredibly behind because it tells us it's lap 55, whereas really we're on lap 58, I believe. So this is Gosby now, is it? This is the leader, yeah. This is Gosby,
yes. This is Gosby leading. Oh, it's been a good race for him. He has led absolutely perfectly. He has done incredibly well to control this race with his strategy. He's done it so well. I think he has controlled this race beautifully.
The crucial moment for Martin Gosby was that first pit stop where he overtook Malorki, who he'd been following very closely behind. You had to feel he might have had it what it took to pass him on track, but he did it in the pits. He pit a lap earlier, set a superb lap time on those deep tyres. He got off the temperature so well. And Martin Gosby fully deserved this race win.
Yeah, we said strategy was everything. I didn't think we could have counted him out at the beginning of the race. That was absolutely excellent.
Indeed, and I did say he might have been out of position on the grid. I didn't know he was this out of position, but there we go, he was. Martin Gosby with an absolutely superb drive. He will lead the championship, he will lead the World Series, and he takes the checkered flag in Australia, winning the 2013 World Series Grand Prix.
Brilliant drive there from Martin Gosby. Absolutely fantastic. But you cannot never, ever count out any of the other drivers, especially not Malorki, who comes home in 2nd place. It's absolutely brilliant drive for both of them. What a race.
And here's Peter Burlack, who's made a really solid drive up to the podium. He's done really well on his first race as a full-time World Series driver. Only not too far behind his teammate Rob van Starkenburg recovers superbly. He led the early race, but he finishes 4th now. Zoltan Suti comes across the line in 5th, and soon we should see Lowell, who looks like he's just about holding off Lapala. Lapala is
Lapala
spun there.
On the last lap, last second to last corner. Oh, at least he didn't lose a position. At least he wasn't fighting for position. Yeah. But Lowell and our pole sitter finishing in 6th. I mean, it could have gone worse, but I mean, he tried something different, and that was the important thing.
Gosby started 6th, and he finished 1st, and
Lowell started 1st and finished 6th.
Well, there we go. That's a bit of fun. Rounding out the top 10, Kolarek, Vertmuller will finish 9th, and Eros Musculi will finish 10th, just behind him. Nagy will come across the line in 11th. He's been outshot, you have to say, by his teammate Zoltan Suti, who has put in a superb drive for Netrex. Dematos will finish 12th. Ostakovic 13th, Nick Rowland 14th, and Francesconi 15th, Diaz 16th, Mora 17th, Rodriguez 18th, Pangev 19th, 4 laps down, Nigel, sorry, not Chris Dion.
That was interesting.
Know what we've seen here?
Nagy, I think, showing on that, he had a DNF. Dematos, he was in 11th.
He was in 11th, so but that is a few points. So
so what happened to Nagy? I think Nagy should still get the points though, because it still classified him in 12th. That was so see, there you go. He's got a DNF.
Yeah, he's maybe he had a crash on the final lap.
He must have done, but at least he was a lap up from the next car, because otherwise that could have cost him. What happened here?
So we're going to have a replay now. Is this the final corner?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's just like he slowed down. Maybe he ran out of fuel.
Disconnected. Yeah, it looks like it.
That would be painful to run out of fuel just before, literally not far off the line. But I think he's still got the position.
That reminds me, any Formula 1 fans out there, of Jenson Button in his Honda days. You've seen that one where he blew up as he came to the line.
Yeah.
Stopped just short of the line.
Poor Jenson.
Yeah, and poor Nagy gives up a position
That
there.
is
And
a
1
huge
point.
shame. It's a huge shame.
That's 1 point for him. So Gosby, what a drive from him to play it perfectly tactically, to control the race like that. He didn't bow to Malorki's pressure when Malorki was pressuring him before the second pit stop. He held off the second pit stop as long as possible, and he comes through to lead the championship after winning the final race of last season, back-to-back wins. He thoroughly deserved that one.
Definitely deserved, and it is so good to have the season underway finally, and now we have our first winner as Martin Gosby for Precision, and I know the times for the race tomorrow. I believe it's 12 o'clock GMT, but because the British times are forward, I think it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon is the race. But the next race of the World Series is on the 20th, I believe. So it's in about 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, we'll see you again for the World Series and at the Bahrain circuit on the 20th, indeed. But we'll see you again if you like some World Trophy action. Tomorrow it will be once again
Me, we're good to watch.
Same two. We'll be there at 12 GMT, and I'll be there for the World Championship as well at 5 GMT. So watch us tomorrow if you want to see more superb racing like we had today. It died down a little bit, but definitely enjoyable.
It was still
stuff.
Exciting. I think that was very well raced by, a few mistakes from some like Lapala, but ultimately, I think it was a good race.
Who's your driver of the day then?
Oh, can you really name another one other than Gosby? That strategy was played out so well from 6th place. As there have been so many people who have impressed today, but for Gosby to have taken the win, that was impressive. From 6th place, and to have played his strategy out just right.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. I have to agree. Gosby with the perfect drive, to the win, using strategy, overtaking manoeuvres, everything, and no mistakes, which is a really, really impressive thing. So see you either next time for the World Series or tomorrow for World Trophy and World Championship action. It's goodbye from me, James Tucker, and
goodbye from me, Lewis McGlade. Bye-bye.
Bye.